Well, ain't this a beautiful world I'm in? Oh wait, there's stuff happening in the distance. Oh my god, why are there sulfur cubes on the surface? Well, let me explain to you why I believe this update or this snapshot itself has been a prime example of what Mojang have been doing really well as of late. Also, I apologize for not streaming this week. I'll be back next week for Minecraft Live. Okay, so this entire world around you has been created in Snapshot 7. So this was last week. As I fly around, this is a single biome world of sulfur caves. If I press F3, you can see right here, biome sulfur caves, which makes no sense, admittedly, because this is on the surface, and the surface is not a cave. But as I fly down here, you can see sulfur cubes are spawning on the surface, little gaps are forming, which shows you that it is a sulfur cave biome. We have the springs features on the surface, and overall, the world just looks really weird. Now, I'm gonna up my render distance all the way to the maximum value of 32, and you're gonna start noticing something really strange happening. Along the chunk borders, you're gonna notice sulfur caves spawning properly on the surface. And this, my friends, is a huge deal. Not only was this reported as a bug and how sulfur caves are not meant to be spawning on the surface, what have we as a community been asking for this entire snapshot cycle? We wanted beautiful generation structures of sulfur caves on the surface that actually looked like or resembled IRL structures, and this is now entirely possible in pure vanilla Minecraft without any sort of world generation gimmick. Let me explain what's happened. Okay, I'm going to do a lot of downgrading here. This is Snapshot 7. And we are going to create a world with seed 934598. No customization required. Just go over here and create the world. And as the world is creating, I'm going to show you this freaking thing. The blob is actually from Minecraft Dungeons 2. What did we expect? Anyway, we're going to hit F3 here. And we're going to check out the weirdness value. So this is the chunk generation stats. So W is weirdness. The higher the weirdness number is, the more biome variance we get. So this is a very low value. It's totally fine. We're just in a taiga biome. However, if we just emerge over there, you can see there is a sulfur cave biome spawning on the surface. Now, this was reported by many to be a bug. It makes no sense. Why is there a cave biome on the surface? It's just nonsensical. Now, the reason this is happening is because if you look at the W value, the weirdness value again, it's now setting to -1.3. Sulfur caves spawn below -1. And because of this, it is causing a random sulfur cave biome to spawn on the surface here. Now, I personally think this is fantastic. I love the quirkiness of Minecraft World Gen, and this is no exception. However, if we just take a moment to dig all the way down here and enter the actual cave, all the features still exist. They just don't spawn up there on the surface. And so Mojang could have tackled this one of two ways. They could have just stopped the world gen from occurring on the surface, but what's interesting with that is they would have to change how sulfur caves generate entirely. You can see the weirdness is still -1.3. Or option 2, do the following. Welcome to this week's snapshot, Snapshot 8. We're going to generate the exact same world, and we're going to assess what has changed on the surface of this cave. Why the heck was there a cave noise? Take a look. Oh my god, what do you remember was there before? Just grass, nothing else, no features. They have decided to add every single sulfur cave feature to spawn on the surface of this cave. Is this not what we've been asking for them to do this entire time? Not only are we gonna get freaking sulfur blocks on the surface, we're getting sulfur springs, geysers, everything. We've got a geyser right there. I don't even believe they've just started listening to us. What I think has happened, oh, poor cube is dying. What I believe has happened is that they are communicating more. This is a post I found on r/PhoenixSC. Sulfur caves can now generate on the surface. This is no longer a bug. And this is by Nembon. And you can see the exact same seed utilized from the bug. Instead of blocking it, we decided to embrace the fact that they can peek through the surface and include sulfur cave features on the surface as well. It is a really rare occurrence, so we thought it would be best it feels rare. Now, I'm sure there are going to be many other examples of this. All you have to do is find areas where the weirdness value gets into the -1 point domains, especially on the surface. So if you find any other examples of this, do post them on r/PhoenixSC or let us know somehow. Knowing this is just a rare possibility makes this even more beautiful. So now we can re-examine just what it's like to be able to see this happening in our distance. So this is a single biome world I created in 26.2 Snapshot 7 a week prior. This is when it happens. This is the chunk border right here, all generated in the brand new snapshot released this week, thereby allowing every feature to spawn on the surface. Now, I noticed there are absolutely no trees here, so you're gonna have to find other ways of getting wood. Mineshaft, for example, other structures. Don't even believe villages can spawn. You're gonna get so much nausea by traveling in the water too. I don't know. I do wonder what it's gonna be like playing like this. Now, I'm not gonna be doing this the entire snapshot. There are other changes I'm gonna cover. Actually, I might just do the rest of the snapshot review here. Why not? First of all, one of the changes they listed was they made beds bouncier. Now, I've done a bit of testing. If you jump up 10 blocks and then fall on the bed, you do end up jumping up 1 extra block per rebound on the bed. So they made it slightly slightly bouncier if that is the case. If you're in survival, it still breaks your fall just the same. So if you jump up 30 blocks, fall on the bed, you lose 6 hearts, or a total of 5 after all rebounds are done. If you're back on Snapshot 7 and you do the exact same thing, you can see you only take 4 damage once because you don't rebound as high. So there you go, that's the difference. Okay, I'm gonna give 2 sulfur cubes the magma block. If you remember from the previous snapshots, if you put 2 magma block sulfur cubes together, they will take damage. Now, they do not. They don't actually hurt each other anymore, which I think is exactly how they should behave. Why are they taking heat damage if they're both made out of heatness? Which means you can create a barrier of sulfur cubes much more easily now. Leash them all to me, like this, and there we go. We have a barrier of mobs that can protect us from any harm. Now, the problem, obviously, is that if you're in survival mode, like this, you start taking damage because it's a magma block. You still need fire res yourself. The sulfur cubes around you don't need any fire res. Now, if you die, you now have a new death message. Phoenix SC died because not just the floor is lava. This is a brand new death message that they added in this snapshot, not to be confused with if you stood on an actual magma block where it does say discover the floor was lava. So you're still gonna need that fire res part if you wanted to walk around and be immune to these sulfur cubes. Now, if you want the damage command reference for this, it is sulfur cube hot. If I do it right now, I won't die because I have fire res. If I clear it, I will get that death message. A couple more things before I wrap up the video. I made a short a couple of days ago talking about spamming sound by placing a sulfur cube on top of a cactus. After which, if you do it, this happens. Well, unfortunately, that has been patched. If you place a sulfur cube that has a block inside it above a cactus, it makes no noise. You can see my sound sliders are all full, apart from music. It appears they've made sulfur cube knockback completely resistant to cactus damage, because if you do this, the cube doesn't even move. If you do an arrow damage, for example, it does take random knockback. So that sucks, but it was an exploit. It was a stupid exploit, whatever. And the final thing I want to show you is a little trick that people have been talking about regarding the bounce music disc. Because speaking of exploits, I think there's a really cool exploit too. So what I'll do first of all is go into spectator mode and teleport to the closest chest minecart, which there will be one. They're very common. What's not common though is chest minecarts spawning inside a sulfur cave. To find the bounce music disc, you're gonna have to find one of these intersecting a sulfur cave, and that's just not very common whatsoever. If I locate biome sulfur caves, there's one 346 blocks away, which is not that far, but that's actually kind of far when you're talking about trying to intersect an existing mineshaft. This chest minecart has not had its loot generated yet. If I go into spectator mode and I right click it, I can confirm that myself because it says loot not generated yet. All I have to do is not interact with or open this chest minecart just yet, find a sulfur cave somewhere, move this guy all the way to the sulfur cave, and then open it. Yeah. It's kind of impractical, but it works. So what I'm gonna do now is just save and quit. I'm gonna back it up, so now I've got a copy. I'm gonna generate the loot, and I've got 3 torches, a diamond, name tag, a few random bits and bobs. So this is without moving the chest. All right, I've reloaded. If I go into spectator once again, it still says loot not generated. Now, instead of moving this guy by putting rails and everything, I'm just gonna modify the biome around me. And so now if I just move around the chest minecart, I can see I'm within sulfur caves. And now if I open it, I suddenly have a completely different set of loot. I have 2 music discs here, a diamond, a set of rails, completely different to what we had before. Now, the only challenge is not knowing whether the chest minecart has been looted or not. And I don't think there is a way to know, because you don't want to put a hopper underneath it, because that's just going to extract items out of it. Any sort of hopper interaction will generate the loot inside the chest. So I guess you just have to look for context clues, circumstantial evidence to figure out whether this area has been looted or not, or just find a new mineshaft. The loot exploitation trick still works. This is one of my favorite, this has got to be my favorite update in a long time. I've got to think about this. Try it out. Stay tuned for Minecraft Live next week. I'll be live covering it. I have no idea what to expect. New content on the horizon. Subscribe.